What's up, guys? I am Daniel Barnett, and here with me, as always, is Mason Wooliver, and this is Mouth of the South. How you doing, Dave Mason?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We've had our ups and downs these last couple of weeks, especially with like technical issues.
Right.
My computer crashed, so we're we had last episode we were on doing it on the phone, and it obviously don't sound as crisp. Hopefully this will sound a little better.
Yeah. A little bit of echo and difficulties we had earlier, but I think we got it fixed and we're ready to go now.
Yeah, I'm thinking we fixed the problem. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's going to sound super loud, but you know what? We're going to roll with it anyways. We got a lot to talk about, not a lot of time to talk about it in, so we're going to push it. We're going to push it through. Probably won't spend a whole lot of time on like games from last week. We'll hit like a couple like big ones out of the SEC, and then we'll move on for this next coming game or next week's games or this Saturday, and then we'll talk. We'll start off with a little news. We've had a couple of different things. What's one thing that sticks out to you, Mason?
Well, last night it came out that Jeremy Pruitt and I forget the guy's name now, but his last name's Banks, linebacker on the volunteer football team. He got arrested for a routine traffic stop.
It was Jeremy Banks, by the way.
Jeremy Banks.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just mix and match the first names of the coach and the player, but I mean, I would have been right.
Get like we'd be talking about the wrong player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just an illegal U-turn, as far as I know, that he never showed up to court for, and so there was a warrant out for his arrest, and
he got pulled over and they had to take him to jail because, yeah,
like a long story short,
you can open that door. She wants in. She's gonna meow the whole time. We were talking about Jeremy Banks, and you were talking about it was failure to appear for a U-turn violation or whatever. So I mean, the cops it didn't. I mean, they were actually being cool about it.
Yeah,
and he was just kind of acting, pretty much like being a prick about it. There's no nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Which we actually even got a clip for that if you want to play it.
Roll it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how well this is going to sound, through the mic, but we're going to give it a go anyways. And
let's give a warm first day welcome to our newest
first they got to hit us up with an ad. We'll let that run. Didn't know it was going to hit me with an ad before I play the video.
Yeah, we're playing ads for somebody and we're not even getting reimbursed for it. So.
Yeah, we're not even getting money for this. Here it is.
I don't like the police, bro. You don't like us? Nah, hell nah. Okay. I don't take offense to that. Y'all fuck niggas, bro. What we do? Y'all fuck niggas. It's all good, though. Bro, you got a warrant. We can't do shit about that. Man, y'all police is some pussies, bro. Like, real shit. Like, I don't fuck with y'all. I don't give a fuck. Okay. That's why all my fucking life I hated cops. Without that badge, y'all bitch and a half, nigga. For real. This your intern right here? What's that? This your intern? Yep. Ma'am, I don't think you want to be a fucking police. Really? Like I said, I'm trying to work with you, and you're doing this? Work with me, officer. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk. That's just what I do. Shit. You're disrespecting me and all that? No, I ain't disrespecting you at all. I've been dealing with police all my life. Okay. So have I done anything to you or anything like that? No, it's just my shit, how I do it. Ma'am, I don't think you want to be an intern, because where I'm from, we shoot at cops. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So what time, man, y'all?
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I definitely have to put the explicit tag on this podcast. I forgot. There's some colorful language.
Yeah, and I have the clip here of the Jeremy Pruitt response that kind of got blown out of proportion, where there was not a lot of context to it, but if you blindly are hearing this, then you're thinking that, Jeremy Pruitt's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But here's one little line Jeremy Pruitt, when they actually called him, this is what he had to say.
Point for his arrest. This is the silliest shit I've seen in my life. I got it. I understand. I've worked at 4 places. They never had no crap like this except for here.
Obviously, Jeremy Pruitt was not happy.
Yeah, and obviously he wasn't very awake. I mean, it's
3 o'clock in the morning, man.
Another interesting thing that came out of that little clip there was him saying he's been at 4 places. That'd be Florida State, Georgia, Alabama, and now Tennessee. And he's never had anything like this happen. And a lot of people were making it out to be like those other places, it kind of just went under the rug. You never heard about it. They got away. But now on this team, they're making a big deal of it. They actually, are arresting these players. I don't know if that's necessarily what he meant by it, but that says a lot about, Tuscaloosa, Athens, Tallahassee. I mean,
I don't know what to say, man. Dude, he's not a good role model, obviously.
no.
Tennessee's just got some problems going on over there, I think.
Yeah, the following day today, Philip Fulmer actually had a press conference where he discussed this, and he shot down any rumor that he's going to come in and be the coach. He said, that part of his life's behind him.
He said he's not putting on the headset.
Yeah. And he also said that he's 100% all in on Jeremy Pruitt, and he likes what he's doing there. So, Philip Fulmer has lost his mind and his eyesight.
When a lot of ADs and stuff say that, though, usually everything goes full south. Coaches get fired and people get fired. But, anyways, let's speed it up a little bit, and we'll talk about a couple of key games, especially I definitely want to touch up on the Clemson North Carolina game.
Yeah,
that's one that stuck out to me. And how do you feel about that game? And if you didn't see the game or didn't watch it, it was 21-20 and could have went in overtime, but Mac Brown chose to go for the 2-point conversion to try to win the game. And how do you would you have done the same thing?
No, I wouldn't have. Because they scored with a minute and a half left. If you score with, say, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, then yeah, I'll go for 2. But you're giving the ball back to Trevor Lawrence, who didn't have a great game, but he's still Trevor Lawrence. He can go down the field.
Well, either way, they're going to get the ball. Clemson was going to have a minute left on the clock.
Possibly the most upsetting part of that whole sequence was one of the best onside kicks I've ever seen. Just completely
hit them. It hit them just right too. They just didn't recover it.
Yeah, everything went right for North Carolina to win that game, and they just didn't. I
think they played better than Clemson. They should have won.
Yeah.
My only problem, I would have went for 2, but I wouldn't have ran a triple option play or whatever the heck they ran. It didn't make no sense, and the defense wasn't fooled. Yeah. They should have passed it.
Yeah, I could have seen
it would at least opened it up where the quarterback might have could have ran or something like that.
So yeah, I didn't have a problem with that play if they would have had a pass option, if they had a run or
it'd be an RPO. Yeah.
With that same exact, because there was nobody in the end zone.
There was no pass. It wasn't going to be a pass at all. I don't think, and it wasn't even really smooth. It was just a typical Army play or some crap like that.
Yeah. And it was a poor read because the running back had a much better shot at making it than the quarterback.
Yeah. I think it was just kind of pushed, and which they had time to draw it up. So I don't know what they were doing, but
it's probably.
I had to pause for that sneeze. It was going to be deadly.
But, Mac Brown's probably had this play drawn up, ready to go in practice, just waiting for the moment. And he used it against a defense that ain't going to be fooled by no Mac Brown tricks. But I give all the credit I can to Mac Brown because I would have never thought he would have been in the position he is now.
North Carolina has like 2 losses, I think. Let's see. They have 3 losses, but they've all been either close games or like one of them was like controversial, like because they got ran out of time. But other than that, was there any other games that kind of stuck out in your mind this last week?
Washington State, I'm pretty sure they had a bad loss where Mike Leach called his players fat, lazy, and entitled. That's just Mike Leach being Mike Leach. So.
I know. All the other top teams kind of handle business. One thing, of course, I'm going to pull up, but Auburn actually looked a whole lot better this week. Their offense was pretty dominant, and all around, they've showed some progress. And Bo Nix actually had a really good day. He was like 16 of 21. And what's funny is they go in this next week into Florida, and his stats compared to his dad's stats. Because when Patrick Nix went into the Florida game, when he played, they played the number 1 team and ended up ruining their chances of a national championship. And the stats are almost identical. Like Patrick Nix faced Mississippi State for his Florida game, and he ended up having 16 of 23 for a career high of 311 yards. And Bo Nix came in last week 16 of 21 with 335 yards, which was also career high. So, little fun fact there.
Yeah. The big difference is Florida ain't no championship contender.
I don't think. We'll get on the games for next week here in a second, but I'm in agreement with you. So Clemson just didn't look good. If there's any top teams that are still handling business, I guess it's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU. There's been a lot of people saying that Ohio State's the most clear, like put together team, like all around, because LSU and Alabama, they're scoring like crazy and just passing up and down the field, but their defenses are a little suspect.
Well, personally, I don't really think that it's anything wrong with Alabama's defense necessarily. I think that their defense would still be as dominant as it used to be, given if they actually ran the ball like they used to. Because the way they scored, their defense is tired by the second quarter. They scored in a flash, and that just wears on the defense when they ran the ball.
See, that's another thing, but which one thing I have to say is like they have a young group. It's like 6 or 7 freshmen. Yeah. So that's they're gonna have some growing pains, especially as freshmen. So I think they'll improve over the year, but like right now, I just don't think their defense is like the Alabama caliber defense we're used to.
I think that they'd have much better numbers if they had a Derrick Henry or a Mark Ingram in the backfield and not a Tua under center. Things would be different. The defense would probably be a lot more dominant.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing Alabama may have trouble with when they play like better teams, is scoring a little too quick.
Yeah, or going 3 and out. That's 2 team killers that just go pretty much unnoticed. Is when you go 3 and out, or when you score too fast.
So, other than that, nothing really stuck out for me for this past week, and just to kind of move things along and hop into our predictions and all that stuff before we close out this little mini episode. So some games, notable games that you see that you'd like to touch up on?